Welcome back to Food for Thought Live, my brothers and sisters of the cause. And of course, that cause is life, love, compassion, light, all good things. And who doesn't, and what doesn't benefit from that? We've talked a lot in these broadcasts over the last few weeks about that and about the importance of education and instilling compassion and empathy in children, and what a beautiful world it would be if that happened. But, you know, it's not always that way. And a very dear friend of mine today has been in touch with me, and it's not the first time either. In fact, over the years, I've been in this situation many, many times with people who share our passion and empathy and compassion and light and struggle with this world, this darkness that we have to immerse ourselves in, because of the fact that as we've discussed many times, we have to immerse ourselves in it to understand it fully and to be able to address it and to be able to make it go away, make it stop. However, one thing that I would say, and I speak to everyone who's in this situation, as well as my dear friend who I know is struggling today. As Sangeeta said towards the end of her interview last week, in the words of Martin Luther King, she essentially echoed his sentiment, which is that darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. And it's not easy. It's not always easy to exercise that. But my friend who highlighted her feelings to me today, she actually put it so beautifully. She said something so insightful, and I want to share it with you, because what she said is that she understands that love, that light, has to apply to the people who are perpetrating the atrocities, the darkness that we fight so vehemently to bring an end to, because it's not anything other than the fact that they're just not consciously awakened yet. They're not aware and they're not evolved, and it's a really difficult, challenging thing to remind yourself of that, especially on a daily basis when you're fighting the good fight. And you would think when compassion and love and all those good things we talk about, when that's the cause, when that's all we're actually asking for, you would think there wouldn't be a fight. In fact, you'd think people would demand it. You'd think that we wouldn't have any need to fight for these things. But if we can just remember that those people, the best we can do to reverse this is to just be led by love and compassion. And it was my friend who reminded me of that today, with her beautiful words about the very fact that these people are just not evolved, and we can't and won't achieve anything by hating on them. We just got to quietly get on with our work. I say, you know, in most of these circumstances, just don't give them the energy, don't give them the time, at the very least, but certainly don't fight them, and just quietly get on with our work. And that work is always led by love and compassion. And in doing so, we surround ourselves with people who are on the same mission as us. And that's one hell of a cathartic thing to do. And I'm very happy to tell you that my guest tonight is one of those people. She's on the same mission as us, and she's leading the way, as so many of my guests, in fact, I'd say all of my guests have already highlighted, that they just show us the way. And she's one of us. She's one of the tribe, and this tribe is growing. And it's with that in mind that, and I speak on behalf of myself and Kiki the squirrel, who is a very proud ambassador for this organization, this group. It's my great pleasure to welcome Val Green.
Hello.
Hello. It's nice to see you.
Nice to
and
see
lovely
you.
to see the rhino behind you. We both got rhino photos on the wall, just so that everyone understands the cool kids have rhino photos or paintings. So don't be shy, get yours today.
Yeah,
we're not actually selling rhino paintings, but Val, it's so good to see you. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to talk to you, and I'm so excited for everybody to learn just what you've done and what you've achieved and why. And we're going to talk a lot about it. And God, I can see so many comments flooding in already. My goodness. Hi, Val. Hi, Val. Hi, Val. Everyone's saying hi, Val.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
I'll just throw some messages up on the screen. I think, Val, you are one of the... the examples I talk about quite a lot of the humility that exists in the people who do the work and do it really, really well, and the really crucially important work. And so it's really wonderful to have you on. But I want to, before we get into this specific campaign that we're really going to talk about mostly tonight, I'd love for you to just share how did this start for you? Where did your love for animals come from?
Oh, okay. Well, I've always loved animals, and I can remember as a child watching people like David Attenborough, Bill Oddie, and David Bellamy, who very sadly died today. So I just want to send my condolences to his family, because that was really sad to hear that. But
Tragic. It's very sad.
Because David was lovely. People like that really put me into this mindset, and I've just throughout my life had a strong interest, but never really did much with it till about 5 years ago, when I got involved with. I was living in Scotland, and I got involved with Scotland for elephants and rhinos. Used to help organise the marches up there. Did some fundraising for Animals Asia, and
Right.
most recently I've been an fundraising ambassador for David Shepherd Wildlife Foundation, and I still am, and I'm very proud of that, and I want to keep that going to the side, because unfortunately their animals aren't in the UK, so I have to split them up. But
Yeah,
a really worthy cause.
yeah, incredibly worthy causes, and this is the thing I mean about you. I think you've done a lot of stuff. In fact, I'm going to share some stuff just to embarrass you a little bit.
All right.
If that's all right. Oh, hang on a second.
Oh, Kiki.
Well, you know what? I actually don't think that is Kiki.
All right.
I don't think that's Kiki, because Kiki does not hang about. She just comes right over, and even if she takes nuts out of my hand very regularly. As you can see, this little guy here, he's definitely not. That's not Kiki. I say he. I don't know why I say he. I've got no idea if it's a girl or a boy, but he's gone. It's not Kiki. What's really funny, just to completely interrupt myself, is that since Kiki's been visiting, she's actually started to bury nuts in some of the plant pots in my living room. And so the other squirrels have figured this out. And sometimes, especially on a day like today, it's 28 degrees in my apartment right now, even though I have all the doors and windows open. So sometimes if I have to be out, I come back and I find all the plant pots with bits of soil on the floor next to them, where Kiki's competitors have been digging around looking for her nuts, which is kind of hilarious. But there you go. Now let me stop waffling and share something with you fine folks. There you go. There's an example. So this is one of the campaigns you've been involved in. You just talked about David Shepherd Wildlife Foundation. Were you were involved specifically in the Scotland area with campaigning, or was that one of the other charities? Have I got that wrong?
No, I did a lot in Scotland, because I've only moved down to Nottingham the last couple of years.
Right.
They're my friends from Scotland for Elephants and Rhinos, and
Right.
that, up in Scotland, that one.
Wonderful. And there's more. And I'd love for you to tell me about this, which I'm just going to share on the screen right now. So this right here, which was in the Guardian.
Yeah. I was doing a campaign about ivory called Auction Rangers, where a few of us were going online onto sites like eBay and looking up all those listings that say bone, but they're not, they're ivory.
Right.
Reporting them to eBay. And where eBay wasn't taking notice, we were sending detailed reports and more evidence. And The Guardian was doing a campaign on elephants at the time. They were covering people like Maria Mossman, lots of people who were doing something around elephants. And because that was about ivory, it was different to some of the other people they were covering, I was really, really lucky to be covered.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, well, we're lucky, and they're lucky. We're all lucky that you're doing what you're doing. I think this is from the Global March, isn't it?
Yes, that's
there you go. Global March for Elephants and Rhinos. So when you mentioned Maria Mossman, who, along with the rest of the team there, organised these marches, and there you are, front and centre. And a lot of you guys I know have joined us at the march in London, where we had, in fact, I think one of the most profound protests I've been at is that incredible. I think it was a couple of years ago where we did the the diamond of silence. I don't know what it was even called, but we had that incredible formation of hundreds of us in Parliament Square, just absolutely silent, all wearing the same T-shirt, and it was quite profound. It was very powerful. And tourists, of course, it's the epicenter of London tourism. People were wandering past, taking photos, putting it on social media. I think it was brilliantly done. And so you've been involved in that up in Scotland as well. So that's just a kind of a couple of little tidbits of where this has come from. But what you guys don't know, or yes, perhaps some of you do know, what Val has done in some way like a superhero record time in the space of the time that we've been in this lockdown, the pandemic. Val has created the One Voice for Animals UK appeal. Tell us about that. Tell us how that came to be. This is extraordinary that you've done this so quickly.
Well, it's not just me, it's everybody, because I couldn't do it by myself. Back in March, early April, when the pandemic was really hitting, because I follow all these animal groups on Facebook and other social media, I was seeing loads of really heartbreaking posts from people saying, I can't afford to pay my vet bills. I can't buy food for my animals. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to close. And I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm still working full time. So I thought, I'll donate here, I'll donate there. But there was too many. It was just too much. So I, because I've got this group network of friends, I had this idea of bringing all these charities together and the non-profits together into one group. And within a couple of weeks, we had over 100. And I think about that time, Dan, I contacted you and said, here's an idea. Will you represent for us? And you very kindly said yes.
Of course, proudly. I mean, it's a brilliant idea, and it's the least I can do. But carry on.
Okay, so, and I have got something written down, so I hope that's okay to read, because
you absolutely.
What it's about the future. It's not just about now. Yes, there's an immediate need, and we have a database up which we want the public to go to find their local animal rescues and donate.
Right.
But it's also about equipping these organisations for the future. So I am going to read, because I can't.
No, please do. This is really, we make our own rules here. You can do whatever you want. And what this says about you, Val, is that, and this is one of the things that I admire very deeply about you, is the fact that this is all about the cause. This is all about the animals. This is all about you getting the information across. And that's the most important and the only important thing to you. So you feel free to read. There's absolutely no problem with that. I think it's wonderful that you want to impart all of the information so thoroughly. So please carry on. Thank you.
So the vision for One Voice for Animals is for all small UK domestic and wildlife animal organisations. So they might be charities, but they quite often aren't. They're normally just very small one-man bands. The vision is for them to be recognised and valued for what they do for UK animal welfare, because they do a huge amount for UK animal welfare. We want them to have the tools they need to thrive in a digital age. It's been quite a shock for most of these rescues that they can no longer fundraise at a local car boot sale or wherever it might be. They've now got to meet the public via social media.
Yeah.
For them, especially when it's such a busy time of year, that's been really hard.
Yeah.
My vision is they have the funds they need to operate. So we will campaign to the government, or we will try and encourage National Lottery to give money to animal charities. We want different ways to try and achieve that. The next one is for all these centres to be part of a supportive network. I know some of these centres feel very alone. They feel like the world is against them and they're by themselves. Well, we know that there's loads feeling like that. So it'd be great that we can get people together, buddy up, and share how they're feeling, share ideas, just be supporting each other. And the final one for the rescues is to have a platform to campaign on issues that cause harm to animals. So today there is a couple of petitions I want to talk about. Sure, and we'll be sharing those. Yeah. One more, and this is for the public. The public aren't going to have in their heads the names of all these charities to go and look up their Facebook pages. So I wanted to have a way for the public to be able to find rescues near them that need support. To be able to find them quickly. So the One Voice for Animals database, helpanimals.co.uk, is based on filtering on your county or region. And then when you do that, you'll see all the charities local to you, and you can see how to support them.
And it's a simple and brilliant idea. And am I right in thinking you've got somewhere knocking on 300 of these charities on the database now?
At the moment, it's 285. And interestingly, we did a survey to work out how many animals each of those organisations are looking after, and it averaged about, we did an average, it's between 70 and 90, which means that between them they're looking after 22,500 animals.
Which is just this is just let that land, folks. This is what this is all about. Is that what Val has created is the ability for people to quickly and efficiently help those who are helping 22,500 animals and the rest. I mean, that's just, it's immeasurable in the end, because these people, it literally could be the difference between them surviving or not is the help they get through this. So this is how important what you're doing is. And just while I want you to carry on about that, but just while you're talking about it, I want to draw your guys' attention to two things. One, I put on the screen the helpanimals.co.uk, but you guys know that's not clickable. However, Giles and Kathy Griffiths in the comments, thank you, Kathy, have put the link, which is clickable. So in the comments, obviously don't go yet because we want you to stay on the broadcast, but that's the link to save for later. And jump on there and find out, as per Val's point, that you can type in your postcode, find the local charities, rescues, sanctuaries to you, and you'll be able to see how you can help. So that's wonderful. Carry on, Val.
Okay, it works on selecting your county off a drop down.
There you go.
We'll get it cleverer, but at the moment it's just about selecting your county.
Wonderful.
So we launched on the 24th of April, which is about 8 weeks ago. So that's nothing compared to your other guests. I am so honoured to be here, because it just feels like a dream to be here, to be honest.
Val, we're honoured to have you, because this is, I mean, that's just one element of how incredible it is that in the space of the lockdown, where a lot of people are sitting around twiddling their thumbs, wondering when life will get back to normal, you've created something that has 285 charities or rescues involved.
Yeah.
A number of ways in which the public can be engaged with those people and help them to get through this unbelievably unprecedented time in terms of how challenging it is, literally to the point of potentially determining their survival or not, and all within the space of 8 weeks.
Yeah,
it's an extraordinary achievement. So we're honoured to have you.
Well, thank you, but it's not just me. I was really lucky that in that first week or so when I had the idea, and it was just a Facebook group, I asked for people to help me, and some brilliant people have come forward and are helping me, and I already find them such a support to me.
Right.
Because I'm quite a driven person, and I've got a certain personality type, and I need these people around me to steer me back if I'm going off too far in one direction. So can I mention them all?
Well, you just read my mind. I was about to say, I know that because we've spoken before about this, and I know that these people mean a lot to you. And from what you're saying right now, it's very clear. So yes, please tell us about the rest of the team. Tell us who's working with you.
So we've got Alana, who does our website. She looks after the website. Plus, she has some brilliant ideas and keeps me on my toes and shares these ideas with me. And Alana also has her own passions too in rewilding, which is really a great thing to be involved in, and something I'd like to know more about. Then we've got Angela, who was one of the first people to volunteer. She keeps all our records on our achievements, and she manages the group as well. And then we've got Dee, who I wrote down dog lady, but that doesn't seem right. She's an expert on anything canine, so she's linked in with lots of different dog rescue groups, and is a great source of information for that kind of information. Then we've got Catherine, who does our social media, Facebook and Twitter, and more recently is now head of knitting. I'll tell you about that later. Sasha, who does our database. So she's put 285 organisations onto the database. So Sasha, you've done a brilliant job getting that done. So thank you. And we've also been lucky that I applied. So I just want to mention Bo and Anastasia, if they're watching, who have been fantastic. And I'm pleased that they're going back to work, but I'm also disappointed because they've been such a value to us.
Right.
Hoping that might be able to get some other people to step forward and help.
Well, let's stick with that just for a moment, because again, when we spoke earlier, or when we spoke yesterday, we talked about this briefly, that, oh, hello, we just lost Val. It's just me, guys. I imagine Val will be back. I think her internet just had a freak out. She literally just fell off the broadcast, but this is all right. I'll cover this bit until she's back. I'm sure she'll be jumping back on any time now. What I wanted to talk about was the fact, or what I wanted Val to talk about was the fact that, here she comes, and boom, she's back. Hi.
Yeah. Wi-Fi might be dodgy. If I disappear again, I'll do it on purpose.
That's all right. Yeah, if it does, you just crack. I'll do some tap dancing or something, and we'll get you back in no time. And don't worry, please don't leave the broadcast, folks. I'm not going to tap dance, or any kind of dance, actually. But what I was just saying, Val, was the fact that I know we've spoken about your request for folks with any kind of skills, literally any kind of skills, from obvious stuff like web development or accountancy, right the way down and up the chain, and in every single direction. Whatever you do could be of value to Val and the team, or to the charities and rescues and sanctuaries that they're supporting. So Val, tell us a little bit about that, because as you've just mentioned, you're losing two of your colleagues to the real world. They're going back to work. Yeah. So what's the story there? Tell us about how people can help.
Well, we would love confident people who aren't afraid to talk to the rescues or to journalists to come forward and help us with our press campaigns. We do regional press campaigns, and it's about getting to know your local rescues and having an eye for a story. So if you see a local rescue putting up pictures of a rescue they've just done, that could be a story the press are interested in. So if anyone, you don't have to have any previous skills, because Bo and Anastasia have said they'll stick around to help us and advise us. So they're there to guide. But if anyone wants to get involved, we would love to have you. Dan, you mentioned things like accountancy. There's been an organisation helping us called Charity Buddy. They've been absolutely brilliant. They've helped so many of the One Voice for Animals members. Some of them have had dreams of perhaps getting charity status themselves and haven't been able to, but with help from Charity Buddy, they have now achieved charity status.
Amazing.
But I know Charity Buddy themselves are looking for more helpers, and I think their web address is charitybuddy.org. Maybe somebody can look that up and check. So,
well, Giles is on the call. On the call, I always call it a call. I don't know why I call it a call, but Giles is on the broadcast in the background, as always, doing his wondrous work, and he will no doubt find that for us. Just run it past us again. What's it called?
Charity Buddy.
Charity Buddy. Great. Okay, so there's a call for resources from them.
Yes, they're looking, and they help animal charities. That's what they do. So they help them with anything from setting up an adoption scheme, or advice about websites, as I say, getting charity status, all kinds of things. And I know lots of the One Voice for Animals members use them to help since we partnered with them earlier in the year. Right. And just before we go on to the next part of this, where one of the things that I think this is really relevant right now, obviously you yourself have created, I'm sharing on screen right now, for example, the Twitter account, and you'll also find Instagram that's on screen now, and Facebook, which I'll share on screen in just a moment. But as you'd expect, Val and her team have created a presence online in the social media space for the One Voice for Animals UK appeal. But of course, that's just one part of it. Essentially, it's the tip of the iceberg, I guess you could say, because underneath that are those 285 and growing number of charities and rescues and shelters and you name it. Yeah. And these are people, and I've seen some of them myself, who have either zero social media presence. So, if anyone's got any kind of spare time and just the ability to set up a Twitter account or a Facebook account or anything that these people could benefit from, or
for those who have got those accounts but haven't actually put much into it, just a little bit of promotion like I'm doing right now. Just get it out there, get these people followed, get it shared, get them some support, because as we all know, great things can happen just from this kind of community that exists within social media of like-minded people. So it's really, really important part of it.
Yeah, definitely. And I know Sasha was doing a lot about liking people's pages, and we'll like them back.
Amazing.
So lots of plates spinning there. I'm going to mention a couple of other people that are helping as well, and that's Cindy and Phil, who are also people on furlough, who are making us some help cards, a big series of help cards that we're going to send out to the members, depending on where on the scale the member is. So if they're already a mid-size registered charity that's already got social media, etc., then fine, they may just get a one sheet to our library, because we're going to have a library online. But if it's somebody brand new that's struggling with their social media, or setting up a Amazon wish list, or
right.
bank account even, we're going to have those help cards to send out. It's just another of the plates we're spinning. But thank you, Cindy and Phil, for doing that, because that's going to be brilliant.
That is brilliant, and it's again, it's just indicative of the fact you are spinning a lot of plates, as you put it, and it's quite an incredible feat, really, to think that in 8 weeks ago this conversation wouldn't have been taking place. None of this existed 8 weeks ago, and you're pulling together all these resources and achieving all these great things. It's really incredible. So, the way that's happened, as Val has kind of alluded to more than once, is this team effort. And not just a team within the group that's created One Voice for Animals Appeal, but also the extended community, the extended team, the virtual team, us. So let's all, just give them as much support as we can. In fact, with that in mind, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot here, because I don't know if this exists, but is there, or could there be, a database of as many of those people that you support who does have a Twitter account, who does have a Facebook page, all those things where people could go and just literally tick them off and like one after the other?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've got all the Facebook pages listed, because that's part of what we have on our database. So if you go to the helpanimals.co.uk, you see the rescue name, a brief description, animal sanctuary or dog rescue or something like that, and then there's a link to their Facebook page, and there's a link to their website. They've got one. So the Facebook pages exist already. We haven't captured Twitter, but we certainly could. It's a great idea. Yeah, we could capture those, and cool. It's all on an Excel spreadsheet, so we can certainly find a way of getting that out.
Amazing, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I just think, obviously, it's kind of intangible in a sense, and it's hard to measure. But we all know the potential impact of social media, so it sounds like a good idea. We could all just, give it a follow Friday on Twitter or whatever it is that the cool kids do.
Yeah,
great stuff.
I'll definitely use that one. Just to make the last piece of that jigsaw puzzle, then, the rescues that don't have websites, Facebook doesn't make it easy for you to put a donate button in Facebook if you're not a registered charity. So people are having to put PayPal addresses in longhand in posts on Facebook, and people that have been really busy this spring haven't had time to even do that. So I do worry that these people may be missing out on donations. So I've partnered up with an organization called Golden Giving, who have a branch called People's Fundraising. Sorry, there's so many different names. And what we're going to do is make a donate page, a straightforward donate page for everybody that doesn't have a website. And it will just be the rescue's name, description, which they will give us, a couple of photos from them, and then these donate buttons.
Brilliant.
So that if you're on our database and you click the website button, you'll be taken through to a page that clearly shows you what the charity is and what the organization is, what they're about, and more importantly, the donate button's visible, they can find it easily.
Brilliant. That sounds like a brilliant idea. And with that in mind, I'm looking back, and Val, there's so many comments because everyone's saying how wonderful it is that you're doing this. I can't find it, but I know that Linda, our very, very loyal viewer, Linda Patchett, has commented earlier on. I just can't find it and share it on screen, to ask, is it possible to donate from abroad? from outside of the UK?
Yes, some people have, because it depends on what the organisations are offering for choice. Because you'll go to the database from anywhere in the world and find a rescue or charity you want to donate to. It's what they're offering. So if they're offering Visa, then you're probably fine. If they're only offering PayPal, I tell you how some people from abroad have got around this, and I've seen it a couple of times, where people have got Amazon wish lists set up and clearly pinned at the front of their Facebook group. You can put gift vouchers in Amazon wish lists as something that people can select. So I've seen a couple of times in connection with Emily's art, which I know we'll talk about later. I've seen people from abroad buy a rescue a gift voucher. So the answer is yes. It might be that the charity that you want to donate to, Linda, may or may not be ready to take that payment just yet, but we can certainly help them.
Great. That's great to know. Thank you. And thank you, Linda, for asking that question. It's very kind of you. So that's just a kind of a taster of what this all looks like and what Val has created in the space of 8 superhero weeks, which is incredible, Val. It really is incredible. And so other than, because I'm sure that you know this inside and out, are there areas where you could use support or people can help, people can get involved other than the things we've spoken about, such as donating, such as social media, or such as lending their resources to these charities or to the overall effort?
Yeah, and we get new ideas all the time, but something that Catherine suggested recently was knitting nests. And this has been so popular. We've got a separate group for One Voice for Animals, and it's so new, I can't remember what it's called. I'm sure somebody will write it down. I think there's about 70 people on it already, and it's been set up about 3 days ago.
Right.
And have probably about a dozen charities, because Katrine posted on our main group, would any charities be interested in this if we knitted nests for you? And loads have said, yes, please, definitely. So we've got loads of knitters. And I'd like more charities that want nests to tell us, because we can assign you a knitter. And hopefully someone might live near you, and actually you'll have a local friend who's able to knit nests for you going forward. So that's been a really great thing. That's
amazing. Tell me what that means. Literally, they're literally knitting nests.
Yes. Yes, they're knitted nests, and all the baby birds are in them, and all the little mammals are in little. Maybe somebody can find a photo to share. In fact, you might have one, Dan. I think I might have sent you one.
Is it the Kiki one?
No.
Or it's an actual nest?
Yeah, there's an actual nest.
Let's have a look.
Not there, I'm sure that somebody will post up the link to our new Facebook group, where there's a brilliant nest on the front page, which Brinsley Animal Sanctuary said we could use. And it's fun enough, it's spread, even in a few days, it's spread from our page. Because today I had a journalist from the Nottingham Post contact me to say, oh, you've been mentioned today on, I can't remember what it's called, but something like Hero of the Day or something.
Right.
For your knitting nests. And I thought, how did you even know? It's only been about 3 days. And she's asked, oh, can you send us patterns and who can we knit for? So I
wonderful.
think it's going to be big. But the rescues go through them. It'll only last so long. And they need. If you saw the picture, you'd love it, because they look so cute in these little nests.
I'd love to see it. Hopefully someone will be able to share that into the comments. I'm looking through the photos I have, but the only nest I can see is the embarrassing nest for the human race, where a white swan is on a nest with a lot of plastic.
Okay. Maybe Sasha or somebody can find a link, or Katrina, if she's watching, can find a link to our new Facebook group that's about knitting.
Amazing. Now, you mentioned, and by the way, Val, don't let me veer off into another direction. If stuff you want to talk about that you've got written down, you absolutely do that. But you've mentioned Emily's art.
Yeah.
And I've had an idea. Before we get into talking about Emily's art, let me see if I can find this photo, which I've...
While you look in then, Dan, I've got some testimonials that I copied down, which just kind of summarise what we've just talked about a minute ago.
Yeah, brilliant idea. Yeah, no, this is really crucial, guys. Listen to this, because this is coming direct. These are testimonials from the charities that Val's team support through this campaign, through this appeal. So this is like directly from the people it's designed to support. Here are some testimonials. That's a great idea, Val. Yeah, please do share those.
Okay, and they're also available on the helpanimals.co.uk website as their own page. And I haven't written the whole things down. I've just put little quotes in. People have said that being part of One Voice for Animals inspired them and gave them confidence to ask for donations where they hadn't done that before, because they hadn't needed to before. But it's been such an intense year with more animals going to these small rescues because the bigger ones like the RSPCA couldn't take them. Somebody else has talked about One Voice for Animals has brought everyone together. Somebody else has said, thanks to One Voice for Animals, I have been able to access resources I had no prior knowledge of, and it's helped turn daunting tasks into straightforward ones. And then you have done a wonderful job getting folk together. It's wonderful how we can help each other. So there's lots more. I just picked out a flavour. But there's testimonials to thank Charity Buddy for the work they've done. Testimonials to thank Brinsea Incubators, who are very kindly partnered with us. And we've got a live competition going at the moment, actually, on our website to win a £100 voucher from Brinsea Incubators. It's aimed at the rescues rather than the public, but just in case any rescues are watching, yeah. Well,
I think that's amazing, and it speaks volumes. It really does about the work that you're doing and the effect, the impact that it's having. And we'll get into talking about one of the ways in which people can help. But I've had an idea. Well, I haven't had an idea. This idea was given to me some months or weeks ago. As you'll remember, somebody asked about the rhino photo behind me and asked if they could buy it for a contribution to charity. And the answer was yes, of course. Well, I was in Richmond Park. Was it yesterday evening? I can't remember. How ridiculous is that? It was either yesterday or the day before. Beautiful evening, beautiful sunset. And some of you guys will have seen this, but I'm going to share it on screen right now. And I'm going to say, so this is a I think quite unusual photo of I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stags, stag party in Richmond Park, which is something I'd normally frown upon, but this kind is okay. As you guys know, I haven't done this. I've done this, I think, with David Shepherd Wildlife Foundation right back in the early days. One of the first broadcasts, I said I'd make these available. If somebody wants to donate £100 to any of the charities or a combination of the charities that and rescues and all of the people, the 285 people that sit inside of this collection that Val has created, £100 and a print of that is yours.
Brilliant.
And that will be it will be the same size as the rhino print over there. So I think that's 30 by 20 inches, and I'll sign it. So you £100, and that's going to go to the appeal. Speaking of which,
I want it.
well, I'll tell you what. You're getting a copy anyway. You're getting a copy for free, but you're definitely not paying for it. What I would love for you to say though is, because I think that we're getting the numbers are starting to ramp up, aren't they? I mean, overall, the money's really starting to come in.
Yeah. We can't count the money because it is donated directly to the rescues, not to us. But we do have some ideas because we know how many unique visitors, etc. And plus, some people tell us, and particularly on one of our press campaigns. I know that some of the rescues that use our Facebook group have told us that they've had hundreds of pounds in extra donations when we've managed to get them in the local press. But one thing we do know is that the wonderful Emily Tan has enabled £955 worth of donations to go to our charities. I say 955 because one sold today. Emily has been painting beautiful art in real time on Instagram, because I've seen her painting some of them, and she gifts them in exchange for £100 donation to any of the organisations on our website, just as Dan's just described.
Well, it was Emily that gave me the idea, the inspiration to do that. So absolutely, yeah. This is just. I'll share some examples as you're speaking of Emily's work, which is staggering.
These are all available. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this one is called Monarchs, as in the monarch butterflies. I hope I've got that right. But if you see her paint them, they are amazing. They really are. She's so talented.
It's insane. I know several people who've bought several of her pieces of work, and it's just stunning work. And she's another great example of someone who just does so much. She's such a quiet, hardworking hero in the background who's just doing so much. I actually know her through, again, David Shepherd Wildlife Foundation, for whom she also creates a lot of art and does this. And I think we've very possibly already made some money. I know I saw a couple of comments. I'm not going to hold anyone to it publicly, but I saw a couple of comments saying sold and I will buy it when they were talking about the photograph of the stags.
Oh, brilliant.
So we might be another 100 quid up. And I'm going to, as you continue, I'm going to share some more of Emily's work on screen, which I think is just spectacular. Let me just get this.
They're all different as well. We've sold in the past. There's a Scotty dog, two gorgeous lions. They were a wonderful robin. Oh, this is the fox. This fox is beautiful. This was originally painted for the NHS because Emily does so much for charity. The Rare Appeal finished, and this was still there, and it was so lovely. I said, "Can we add it to ours?" And she said, "Yes." So I would hope that will get picked up pretty quickly because it's gorgeous.
I'm just going to interrupt myself and share an absolutely beautiful message on the screen from Susie Hope Saviour Rowland. My goodness me.
Oh, wow.
Susie. That brought a tear to my eye. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
That can help with how to go to the database if you haven't been before. I'm happy to help anybody talk them through it if it's your first time there. Once you've done it once, you'll want to go back and do it again.
And Susie, the answer, I will contact you after this directly, and we'll sort that out. But my love and thanks to you for that. What a beautiful message, and I'm so sorry about your loss. And a happy birthday to your mum for tomorrow, and in her memory. I think that's such a beautiful gesture, and the stag photo is yours. And thank you so much for your generosity. Yeah. And for sharing that. That's an incredible thing to have shared, and I think it speaks to the community spirit that we're talking about. That this creates, that this and many other things that Val has created, that this broadcast creates, that we are part of this community of like-minded people who are driven by love and compassion and kindness and all the things that everything and everyone would benefit from. So I think that was just a beautiful example of that. And thank you again, Susie. Val, yes, the fox. I apologize. I had to interrupt because that was just an incredible message from Susie there. And so I'm going to continue and share some more of Emily's work. And it was Emily who gave me the idea, of course, to say that the stag photo was 100 quid because she puts these incredible paintings out, and just obviously I think could ask a great deal more, but because of the fact that she's trying to move them for charity and make the money, and again coming back around, just closing the loop and just tying all this together, this is literally very, very possibly the difference between survival or not for some of these small outfits. It's absolutely that. Make no mistake about it. This could be 100 quid could be the difference between them being able to feed their animals for another couple of weeks and get through this crisis, and then suddenly the lockdown eases and they're able to have volunteers again, and they've made it through because of what you guys do and because of what Val has facilitated and enabled. So let's have a look at some more of Emily's art. This one's just incredible. I mean, look at that. Yeah, this
one glows in the dark, I think Emily tells me. It's a unicorn zebra, which is a fantastic idea. Yes,
it's a brilliant idea. And there's Emily up in the corner there. You can see up in the top left-hand corner, that's Emily. She's on Instagram, and in actual fact, while we're talking, let me go to my Instagram and find Emily's Instagram page, because she's worth a follow for sure. Her work is staggering.
It's cool to watch in real time as well.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Well, you just see I haven't used Instagram very much in the past, so it's been quite an adventure for me. But you'll suddenly see Emily is live, and curiosity means you go and have a look what she's doing, and you can see the canvas, and you can see her hands as she's painting, and these pictures just come alive in front of your eyes. So this is visual art painted in front of you. It's not
incredible. Well, I'm going to share Emily's Instagram right now, so bear with me 2 seconds. Here it comes. Make sure I get it right. That would be embarrassing, wouldn't it? E.Ying. And you'll see that her work is absolutely stunning. And here it comes on your screen right now. But
she does work for other charities as well. So you'll see some of the. I'm trying to think, it might be Wild Art. She's done one for recently, but she's always
absolutely.
And it always, it's a lot of what she does is in aid of different charities. So she's a wonderful, wonderful lady and well worth a follow.
She is. She's incredible, and as you say, so much of what she does. And let's face it, making a living as an artist isn't exactly the easiest thing in the world to do, and yet she is constantly giving her art, donating, in order to raise money for the cause. I am biased, of course.
So it is, can't you?
And actually, that was created off the back of the photograph that I took of Kiki, who isn't here, coming into the living room, and that's Emily's gorgeous portrayal of Kiki.
We've got that one on the new page, which I'll tell you about shortly. But just so you know, there's a new page called Go Nuts for Kiki on our website, and that's the picture we've used on the page.
Gorgeous.
And I'll tell you why shortly.
Yes, absolutely. Well, perhaps we should segue into that right now.
Okay. So Katrine, as I mentioned, is leading us on our knitting. Actually, Katrine does crochet rather than knitting. She'll tell me off for that. Katrine has crocheted the most wonderful crochet Kiki. And we were considering how to raise some money for crochet Kiki. So we decided that we would have there it is. It's gorgeous, isn't it?
It's amazing.
So we decided that we would, because Kiki is our ambassador. She's formally our ambassador. We've got an acceptance speech and everything, and a brilliant photo on our Facebook group. So we thought, well, if she's already one of our ambassadors, we'll have a page for her where people who are fans of Kiki can have their name in exchange for a £3 donation to any of the rescues on our database. So if you can't afford £100, maybe £3 would work for you. If you can't afford £3, maybe you can knit. But so if anybody wants their name on Kiki's wall, you just go to the database, find a charity you like, donate £3 any way you like, Amazon gift voucher, PayPal, whatever. Screenshot it and then send it to our email address, which is available on the page, or we can give it to you. And then we'll add your name to the wall. And what we're doing alongside that, for as long as it lasts, I think up to about the 10th of July, is we're going to give you a free entry into a giveaway for Crochet Kiki. So you get your name on the wall, that's £3. But up until the 10th of July, you'll also get entered into what will be a draw to win this gorgeous Crochet Kiki.
I'm going to have to enter myself in that case.
Yeah, you will, definitely.
Although actually, that's probably not fair, is it? Seeing as I get real life.
You don't win.
Kiki was actually just here while Val and I were talking before we went live this evening. Kiki came in, and I did wonder whether she'd do her nut gathering at the wrong time. But she does take her ambassadorial duties very seriously, so I wouldn't be surprised if she did actually appear, just to say a few words at some point. We'll see. Fingers crossed. But I think that's just a beautiful example of the kinds of things. By the way, all of these things that we're talking about, Emily's artwork, this crochet,
Katrine's crochet,
and many Katrine's crochet work, which is just gorgeous. These are all things that just happen. These aren't requests that are made to people. These are people who just step up and
Exactly.
give what they can. They contribute what they've got, in whether it's skills, whether it's money, whether it's lending their time to something, and it's just incredible. And I think that again just speaks such volumes about the community that we're part of, and that this is designed to support this that Val has created is designed to support the folks out there who are doing the real work. And I mean, it really is. It's incredible work, and it comes down to this. It's as simple as this: is that if you love the likes of Kiki, or the foxes that you see, or the hares, rabbits, deer, all of the things that we're talking about, and many, many more, hedgehogs, badgers, birds, this is a direct way of helping them, because if a lot of these folks don't make it through,
Yeah.
goodness knows who's going to be there to help the animals and birds, because these guys just do it day in, day out, and for very little reward, if any, other than the spiritual.
And we have quite a lot of pet rescues on our database as well. Just before I mention that, I just want to say thank you to Kathy too from Cumbria Kate, who made us some wonderful baskets on our group and did something similar to what you
lovely.
just. So we have loads of people who do these lovely things.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we have a lot of pet rescues as well. So if you're a cat and dog lover, you'll find those charities on there. If you love horses, you'll find people like Springfield, Springwood, yeah, that they're on there. If you like farm animals, there's farm sanctuaries. So there's a whole range of different small animal charities. So I'm sure that there'll be something there that's worthy of a £3 donation. And if you don't,
such a wonderful idea.
Still donate anyway.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Again, as you've said, while we've been careful to steer away from making this a fundraising endeavor. When it's £3, who hasn't spent that on a fancy cup of coffee at Starbucks at some point? And when it's something like a piece of beautiful artwork that Emily's created, then I think it's absolutely worth putting these things out there. And it's raising. I mean, Emily alone, as you say, it's nearing £1,000 just from the artwork that Emily's created, and that absolutely could see someone through this incredibly challenging time. Definitely. So Val, what with what you're doing, and obviously it's evolving so rapidly, and this is completely reactive. You've created this in the space of the 8 weeks that the pandemic lockdown has been in place. So it's probably almost impossible to say where it will be. We could have a conversation next week and things will be different. But do you have any
out of the blue?
Right, absolutely. Do you have any particular? You talked about Amazon wish lists. If you had a wish list, what would it be? Is there anything that you want to see achieved? Is there anything that would be like a nirvana for you guys that we can just put it out there into the universe and maybe we can manifest it?
Well, I would say the visions that I described at the beginning. So it's about all those rescues being empowered, recognised for what they do, funded,
right,
able to cope in that new world, and feel that they're part of a family and they've got support. Got some issues that we cover as well, because another thing we've been doing recently, and again this has been evolving. Sometimes these things find us and we get involved. We've started seeing rescues talking about animals that have been the casualties of, say, for example, gardening accidents. So we're currently doing press releases around strimmer accidents and hedgehogs to try and raise awareness of that kind of thing. And I think you might have some photos. Also fires. There's been some massive recently. And Richard Simons, who's an artist who's worked with David Sheffer Wildlife Foundation again, he sent me these photographs. And this is Thursley Common, I think, a fire that happened there recently. And I don't do graphic pictures, so there's nothing graphic I'm going to show anybody. But the next photo on from that, from the Thursley Common one, shows you the aftermath. So yes, this is what a fire does. It kills all those ground nesting birds, and it also kills the next generation. So we want to campaign against things like disposable barbecues. We want to try and raise awareness about things like strimmers.
Right.
We've also got involved with a guy who does, his Twitter name is Rubbish Walks. He's campaigning to get a litter summit up and running. And again, we've seen lots of examples of animals caught in litter. This one was sent to us by one of our rescues. I have to give them credit for the name. This is Chris Packett, and he did live. But it's just an example of what happens to these animals when people just discard their rubbish without thinking. So if we can get involved with somebody else's campaign on stopping litter, then I think that's helping us too. So we do get involved. There is 3 petitions I want to mention as well.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to have to read these because I get them mixed up.
Please do.
Right. Just bear with me a second.
No problem. And I'm going to try and share. I'm going to try to find these. I've got some photos and images of them. In fact, I tell you what, I know what I can do because of
you've got an image,
wonderful people here. I've got some images, but these wonderful people on the broadcast, when you see this, I'm going to ask, if I may, for you to find these links along, maybe help Giles in this instance. Let me get this on screen for you, because I know you'll find these fairly easily, but I haven't got the links. Obviously, I can't share the links for you, but here you go. So the first one is, I think, Fern's Law, isn't it?
Yes, there's Fern's Law and Tuck's Law, and I'm not going to pretend that I know which way round they go, and apologies, ladies, because you've both told me, so apologies I'll get this wrong, but the key thing is get these signed. Get these signed. This is about tragic stories of pets who have been euthanized because we didn't scan, that the vet didn't scan. So
which, I mean, it's just extraordinary when you think. I saw this story break this week, and I think it was you that broke it, and it was thank you, Katrin. I see the first of the petitions is up now, and you'll see Katrin has shared that into the comments, so you guys will be able to click and sign that. In fact, Angela has shared one as well. Same petition. Now, just to put this in perspective, what we're referring to here is the fact that somebody took a German Shepherd to a vet and had it put to sleep, and subsequently turned out not to be the owner of the dog, and the dog had a microchip showing exactly who the owner was, and it wasn't scanned. So this is again, this is one of those examples of something real we can do, something absolutely tangible, and now that we can save lives. And can you imagine how devastating that would be? Can you imagine for the owner of the dog?
Oh, I have an 11-year-old dog. I'd be heartbroken.
It's truly astonishing that we're having to have a petition that deals with this, but we are. So let's get it signed and shared and get it out there as far and wide as possible, because this is one of those things that shouldn't be a discussion. There should be no choice. This should be a law. So let's get that one into place. And what about Tuck's Law?
That's a similar story, but slightly different. And I'm going to apologise because I don't want to say it in case I get it the wrong way round. But please go and read about both of them. But they're both connected with failure to do something around scanning correctly.
Right.
I think one of them is about that sometimes animals are microchipped to the rescue that they first belonged to, and the rescue should be notified before any later owner decides to do something. I'm pretty sure that the 2 ladies involved will be posting up things to get that right. Yes,
it's amazing. Thank you, guys. I can see your Angela and Katrina sharing, and Dawn Ashley sharing. Angela, Katrin, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for sharing those petitions, and call to action number 1 from when this broadcast ends shortly will be go sign those petitions and share them, please, because this is one of those things where you don't need to be an animal lover or a staunch animal activist like we all are to get this one. People, this is somebody's pet. The millions and millions of cats and dogs that people in the country have. That's the one thing we have very little trouble gaining traction with people about is domestic pets. So get this one in front of everyone you know, and they will all sign it. This needs to not be a conversation we have to have. This
there
is
one more as well I want to mention.
Please.
This was raised by Caroline from Vale Animal Rescue. Apparently it got stuck in the government's petitions, whatever it is. It didn't get released until very recently because it's about including animal charities in emergency funding. Now, my own MP keeps telling me, oh, yeah, we gave all the money to the charities. And I keep saying, you didn't do the animals. So this petition has, last time I looked, it had about 20,000 signatures on. So the government will acknowledge it. But it'd be really, really good if we could get more. The charity number I've got written down, sorry, the petition number is 314968. And again, somebody might be able to get that link up. In the group.
That will no doubt happen. Just repeat that number.
314968. Include animal charities in emergency funding.
And that's on the government petition website, isn't it? Obviously.
We'd posted on our group a week or so ago, and it hadn't really done much because I'd just put it on another thread. But then I reposted it last Wednesday, and we also put it on our social media, and about 8,000 then. And then I know a lot of the other charities on our group were also reposting it, and so it's gone from 8,000 to 20,000 in just a few days. It may be more than that now. So it's got traction just now, so it's a really good time to get some more names on.
Certainly is, and to put it all in perspective, I'm going to share Susan Buck's comment. Thank you, Susan, for this. Pets are also being rehomed. Again, just imagine the trauma of having your pet go missing, and it only because of the fact that in this particular case, the original rescue isn't also on the microchip. A dog is being rehomed, a dog with a perfectly loving family that's probably desperate for its return is being rehomed, and that's traumatic for everybody involved, including the dog. So absolutely great point, Susan, and thank you for sharing that. And it just makes the point again that all of these things are things we really shouldn't be having to have conversations about this, but we've seen it happen. Mark Abraham, Mark the vet, he just recently got through Lucy's Law. It's doable. We can win these battles. It's something we can do.
And it's good to be part of that one voice. This has been my driver all the way through. Together we can achieve more. So the more we work together on these things, all us animal lovers, the more we collaborate and do things together, the more we can achieve. And we really are achieving quite a lot just now. So let's keep the momentum going.
We really are, Val, and in no small part thanks to you for what you and your team and all the folks that you've been sharing the details of with us, and the the rescues and the people who've been sharing into this conversation. Which, by the way, one of Giles has just shared that petition that you'll find in the comments. I'm sharing it on screen where you can't, of course, click on it, but you'll find it in the comments as well. There are, again, a lot of comments, which is always wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful to see how many of you guys are engaged in this, and I'm seeing lots of new names today as well. And I think that's thanks to you, Val, and all of the folks that you brought in through your incredible endeavour.
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody that's joined, because I was quite worried after the guest list you had, Dan, is amazing, and I was thinking, Val Green, who's that? Do you know what I mean?
Well, you know what?
I said, please bring Kiki on because I might need help.
Yeah, she's not cooperating, but I will say this, Val, that you're every bit as incredible as my previous guests, and every bit as worthy of being here, and we're honoured to have you. We're absolutely honoured to have you, and your humility is a beautiful thing. Don't go changing, but you're absolutely worthy of every bit of attention you're getting, and you should be getting a lot more as well. I just hope that this can help to achieve that, because it's really incredible what you're doing and what you've done. We just want to do it. If this was a year down the line, it would be impressive. But this is 8 weeks old. It's incredible.
I'm supposed to have been on holiday during this period, so fate is funny, isn't it? Because I was supposed to be going to my first ever safari, and instead I did this. And I'm actually quite pleased how it worked out. I'll get a safari later.
Of course you will, and that says an awful lot about you that you look at it that way, and it only enhances my gratitude for you. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Before we go, couple of things. One, I mean, God, how lucky are we? Let's have a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. It's still, it's due to be 32 degrees tomorrow and 31 degrees on Thursday. It's very, very hot. It's unusually warm. Please put water out. I know a lot of you guys have already been doing so because you're wonderful people, but we all need to be putting water out for all the wildlife that wouldn't ordinarily need water putting out for them. It's going to be extraordinarily hot. It looks like there's going to be some rain and thunder on Friday and Saturday, so hopefully there'll be some respite. But yeah, do put water out for wildlife. On Saturday at 7 p.m. UK, the usual time, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, I will be joined by Liz Tyson, who runs the Born Free USA Primate Sanctuary. It's going to be incredible to talk to her. They do some unbelievable work, as Born Free always do, but specifically with primates, and that's based in Texas, of all places. Liz will be joining us. I can't wait to have her on Saturday. That's going to be wonderful. Please join us then. And just one final thought before we say goodbye, but before I give you that final thought, I want to just say again to you, Val, thank you so much, not just for joining us this evening and sharing the details, the information, and your journey so far, but for doing what you've done. I know that you've got such humility that you feel, as you've just said again, that you feel like, with the list of guests we've had on this series, that you're not worthy. That's absolutely not the case. What you've done is incredible. We're all so grateful for you. And and the other I realize that it means a lot to you that it's also your team that we're thanking, and we're thanking all of you guys who are working with Val to make this possible, and to the charities and rescues and sanctuaries, all of those 285 people that Val's project supports. We thank you as well, because you're the guys out on the ground doing the real work with the animals that without you we'd be losing so many precious lives. So we're so grateful to you. Thank you. Yeah. And please keep doing what you're doing, and let us know how we can help to get you through this. We will do everything we can. Val, you're a superstar. You're a superhero. You're an angel. We love you, and please keep doing what you do. It's incredible. Guys, I think there's nothing more appropriate tonight than all of the things we've talked about, and how we started the conversation this evening talking about my dear friend in America who told me how much pain she feels right now, how distraught she is with all the darkness, and how she's got the spiritual insightfulness to know that love is still the answer. And right the way back on episode 2 of this series, we had Louis Sahoyas, the director of The Cove, Oscar-winning director of The Cove, The Game Changers, Racing Extinction. The wonderful conversation we had with him. If you've not already seen it, go check it out. And I mentioned it on that day because his email signs off with a quote from Edward Abbey, which is simply, "Action is the antidote to despair." And I think nothing could be more apt tonight. And that's what Val has done. And it's what Val has given us the ability to do with her. So let's keep that in mind and spread the love. And we'll see you Saturday. Thank you, my friends.
Bye.